Welcome everyone to our enlightening space. Today, we are diving deep into Genesis 19, a captivating narrative of divine justice, moral choices, and the consequences of a society entangled in wickedness. This tale, steeped in ancient history, continues to resonate with us, offering timeless lessons on courage, justice, mercy, and the power of prayer. As we journey through this narrative, we'll uncover the profound teachings hidden within its lines, teachings that can guide us on our own spiritual journey. So, before we tread into this world of divine intervention and moral dilemmas, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Engage with us, delve into these stories, and let's explore these timeless truths together. So buckle up and let's embark on this enlightening journey together. Genesis 19 unfolds in the infamous cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. These ancient locales, nestled in the heart of the Middle East, were notorious for their unrestrained sinfulness. It's within these city walls that we encounter a narrative so powerful, it echoes through millennia. Now picture this. Two celestial beings, angels, descend upon the city of Sodom. Their divine aura is masked by earthly appearance, yet their mission is of heavenly decree. Amidst the city's chaos, they find an unexpected beacon of righteousness. Lot, the nephew of Abraham, a man of faith and integrity. In an act of kindness and respect, Lot extends his hospitality to these strangers, inviting them into his home. Little does he know, this seemingly simple act of generosity is about to trigger a sequence of events that will forever change the course of his life and the fate of the cities he resides in. Yet, it's not just the cities that are on the brink of a seismic shift, but the very fabric of human understanding of divine justice. For it is within this setting, this background of rampant wickedness, contrasted with individual righteousness, that we witness the unfolding of a divine intervention so profound, it continues to shape spiritual and moral discourses today. This encounter, this intersection of the human and the divine, sets the stage for a profound demonstration of divine justice. Our first lesson from Genesis 19 is the importance of moral courage. This chapter presents us with the compelling character of Lot, a man living in the midst of rampant wickedness, yet still able to maintain his moral compass. In the face of a crowd bent on harming his guests, Lot stands firm, demonstrating a profound courage that goes beyond physical bravery. This is not a courage born of battlefields or heroic exploits, but a quiet, steadfast bravery that manifests in the choices we make daily. It's the courage to uphold our values, even when society drifts away from them. It's the courage to protect the vulnerable, even when it threatens our own security. Lot's actions illuminate the path of moral courage, reminding us that even in the most depraved of societies, we can choose to be different. We can choose to be just, kind, and hospitable. We can choose to be a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness. This is a powerful reminder for us to examine our lives and consider if we have the courage to stand firm in the face of moral challenges. Are we ready to stand against the tide, to defend what's right, even when it's not popular? Are we ready to embody moral courage in our own lives? Because as we learn from Lot's story, it's not the absence of wickedness around us that defines us, but our response to it. The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah serves as a poignant reminder of divine justice. As we delve deeper into the narrative, it becomes evident how these cities became the epitome of persistent sinfulness. Their residents, engrossed in their ways, ignored the principles of righteousness, leading to a path of self-destruction. Now let's pause for a moment and consider the gravity of this scenario. Here were two cities, flourishing in their own ways, yet brimming with sin. The divine response was not immediate, it was not hasty. But as the narrative unfolds, we see that the divine justice was certain. This certainty of divine judgment is a central theme that resonates throughout the ages. The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah was not an arbitrary act of wrath. It was a measured response to persistent sin, a response that had been held back until the cup of iniquity was full. This highlights an important aspect of divine justice. It is patient, waiting for repentance. But it is also inevitable when sin persists. But what does this mean for us? It's easy to view the story as a distant historical event, something that happened to people long ago and far away. Yet, The principles contained within this narrative are timeless and universally applicable. They serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of persistent disobedience and the inevitability of divine justice. However, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is not just about destruction, it's also about the possibility of redemption. It's about the chance for change, for turning away from sin and embracing righteousness. Even amidst the impending doom, the angels offered Lot and his family a chance to escape, a testament to the merciful aspect of divine justice. The narrative of Sodom and Gomorrah prompts profound questions about justice, accountability, and the nature of divine intervention. It encourages us to reflect on our actions, our choices, and their consequences within the larger framework of divine justice. It reminds us that while divine justice may seem distant or delayed, it is always certain and ultimately serves a higher purpose. Another crucial lesson is the urgency with which the angels instruct Lot to flee before the impending destruction. This moment, full of intensity and immediacy, is a pivotal turning point in the story. It's a clear call to action, a divine warning that cannot be ignored or postponed. In the complexity of our lives, we too may encounter warnings, signs, or inklings that call us to change our course or reconsider our actions. These may come in various forms: a whisper in our hearts, a verse that speaks directly to our situation, a friend's advice, or even a sudden realization during moments of solitude. These warnings, just like the angel's urgent instruction to Lot, are not to be taken lightly. They are divine signposts meant to guide us, to keep us on the path of righteousness, and to protect us from impending harm. But how do we respond to these warnings? Do we heed them immediately, adjusting our sails and altering our course? Or do we hesitate, second-guess, and procrastinate, allowing the winds of doubt and fear to sway us from our intended path? This narrative encourages us to reflect on whether we are prompt and obedient, or do we hesitate when faced with critical decisions? The urgency in the angel's warning to Lot is a call to us all to act swiftly and decisively when we receive divine guidance, for delay may lead to undesirable consequences. Despite the impending judgment, Genesis 19 reveals God's mercy. It's a point of light in an otherwise dark tale, a beacon of hope emerging from the ashes of destruction. Even as the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah stood on the brink of annihilation, the hand of compassion reached out to guide Lot and his family to safety. This mercy, this act of divine compassion, wasn't a result of Lot's righteousness alone. It was a testament to the unwavering love of God, a love that extends even in the face of our shortcomings. It was a mercy that reached out, not because Lot was without fault, but because God's love is relentless and unconditional. And isn't that a comforting thought? That even when we falter, even when the world around us crumbles into chaos, there's a merciful hand reaching out to guide us to safety. It's a reminder that we're never truly alone. Even in our darkest hours, we can find solace in the boundless mercy of God. So what does this mean for us? It means that no matter what we face, no matter how daunting the trials or how deep the valleys, we can always look to God's mercy. We can find reassurance in the knowledge that God's love for us is unwavering, His mercy unending. This narrative teaches us about the boundless nature of God's mercy, a source of hope and reassurance in our own lives. Lot's hesitation to flee to the mountains, choosing a smaller town instead, prompts reflection on our own attachments to worldly comforts. In the heart of this narrative, we find ourselves drawn into a tale of choices and priorities. Lot, despite the impending doom, finds himself unable to completely sever ties with the life he had known. His decision to seek refuge in a smaller town, rather than the mountains as suggested by the angels, reveals a lingering attachment to the comforts and securities of worldly life. This story isn't just about Lot, though. It's a mirror held up to our own lives, asking us to take a hard look at what we hold dear. What are the comforts and conveniences that we cling to, even when we are called to let go? Are our hearts tethered to material possessions, status, or perhaps even certain relationships that hinder our spiritual growth? We must remember that our earthly journey is but a fleeting moment in the grand scheme of eternity. The things we often prioritize, wealth, power, prestige, are but a mirage, transient and impermanent. As we delve deeper into understanding our attachments, we should also question whether these align with God's will for us. Are we choosing the smaller town like Lot, or are we ready to brave the mountains, trusting in God's guidance and provision? This narrative encourages us to reflect on our own attachments and priorities. The story of Lot's wife turning into a pillar of salt serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of dwelling on a sinful past. This poignant moment in Genesis 19 is not just a historical narrative, but a lesson echoing throughout the ages, calling us to look ahead rather than behind. When we remain tethered to our past, we risk becoming like Lot's wife, frozen in our tracks, rendered motionless by the weight of our past mistakes. The past can hold us in its grip, preventing us from moving forward and reaching our full potential. It can be a heavy burden, slowing our progress and clouding our vision of the future. Yet Genesis 19 beckons us to leave the past where it belongs, in the past. It's a call to break free from the chains of regret, guilt, and remorse that can bind us, to step forward into the future with hope and determination, unencumbered by the missteps of yesterday. This lesson is not about forgetting our past, but about not allowing it to control our present and dictate our future. It's about learning from our mistakes, making amends where possible, and using these experiences to grow and evolve. Let's strive to focus on the future and move forward without being tethered to our past mistakes. Abraham's intercession for the righteous in Sodom highlights the power of prayer. This narrative in Genesis 19 serves as a compelling testament to the strength of supplication, demonstrating how earnest prayer can influence outcomes and even sway divine judgment. Abraham's dialogue with God is more than just a conversation. It's an impassioned plea, an earnest intercession for the lives of the righteous in Sodom. Abraham, in his compassion, stands in the gap for those who may not have the strength or the voice to plead for themselves. His prayer is not for personal gain or favor, but for the welfare of others, revealing the essence of true intercession. This intercession, this act of negotiating with the divine, is a profound demonstration of the power of prayer. It shows us how prayer can bridge the gap between the human and the divine, how it can change hearts and alter destinies. It's a powerful testament to the idea that prayer is not a passive act, but an active engagement with the divine. But Abraham's intercession also reveals the heart of God, a God who listens, who is willing to spare and save in response to the sincere pleas of his people. It shows us that our prayers are heard, that they matter, that they can make a difference. This narrative sparks contemplation on our own prayer lives and the impact of interceding for others. How often do we intercede for those around us, standing in the gap for them during challenging times? How earnestly do we engage with the divine in our prayer lives? And how much do we believe in the power of our prayers to effect change? These are the questions we are left to ponder as we reflect on the power of prayer demonstrated in Genesis 19. Lastly, the narrative of Lot's daughters and the subsequent generations of Moab and Ammon emphasizes the far-reaching impact of sin on families and societies. This part of the story might feel uncomfortable, even shocking, but it's essential to our understanding of the generational impact of sin. In the aftermath of Sodom and Gomorrah's destruction, Lot's daughters, in their desperation, make a choice that leads to the birth of Moab and Ammon. These two nations would later become adversaries of Israel, perpetuating a cycle of conflict and strife for generations to come. This is the ripple effect of sin. It doesn't just affect the individual or even just their immediate family. It reverberates through generations, influencing societies and shaping histories. It's a sobering reminder that our choices have consequences far beyond our own lives. But there's a flip side to this coin, a beacon of hope in this grim tale. Just as sin can leave its mark on generations, so can righteousness. Our positive choices, our acts of kindness, our commitment to living a life of integrity can also ripple through generations, creating a legacy of goodness that outlives us. So as we reflect on this narrative, let's not be disheartened by the weight of our past mistakes, but instead be inspired to make better choices today. Let's strive to break the cycle of sin for the sake of future generations. Genesis 19 is a rich narrative full of lessons for us. It speaks to moral courage, divine justice, the importance of heeding warnings, God's mercy, detachment from worldly comforts, the perils of dwelling on the past, the power of prayer, and the generational impact of sin. These lessons, etched in ancient text, mirror our own journeys, urging us to reflect, learn, and grow. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to our next exploration together.